The smell of motor oil and metal filled the old garage as Olivia Daniels wiped her hands on a rag. At 28, she had earned a reputation as the best mechanic in Pinewood, Wyoming. Cars that other shops gave up on found new life under her hands. "That should do it," she said to no one in particular, closing the hood of an ancient pickup truck. Her methods weren't what they taught in engineering schools, but they worked. That's all that mattered in a town like this. Olivia looked up through the open garage door at the darkening sky. Something was different tonight. The stars seemed brighter, and one of them appeared to be moving. She stepped outside for a better look. The moving light grew larger, splitting into 3 separate points that descended toward Earth. Panic erupted in town as people spotted the lights. Car engines roared to life as families fled. But not Olivia. Her curiosity always won over fear. The lights landed in the empty field behind her family's garage. She grabbed her toolbox, not as a weapon, but out of habit, and walked toward the glow. 3 sleek metal ships, each the size of a bus, sat in the field. They looked nothing like any aircraft she had ever seen. No seams, no rivets, just smooth surfaces that seemed to absorb and reflect light at the same time. A section of the largest ship melted away, forming an opening. 3 tall figures emerged. They had grayish-blue skin and moved with unsettling grace. Their eyes, large and entirely black, focused immediately on Olivia. "Human female," the tallest one said in halting English. "We are Xilarians. I am Commander Vorix." His voice had a metallic quality, like it was being filtered through machinery. Olivia stood her ground. "I'm Olivia Daniels. This is my property you've landed on." The aliens exchanged looks, and something like laughter came from them. "Your property? Your planet is unclaimed territory by galactic standards," Commander Vorix said. "We require resources, then we leave." As they spoke, Olivia noticed liquid pooling beneath one of their ships. It looked like some kind of fuel or coolant. "Your ship is leaking," she pointed out. The aliens turned, clearly surprised. Commander Vorix pulled out a small device and waved it at the ship. His expression changed to one of concern. "Impossible. Our systems are far beyond your comprehension," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. Olivia shrugged. "Leaks are leaks, no matter where you're from. I can take a look if you want." The 3 aliens spoke rapidly in their language. Finally, Commander Vorix turned back to her. "You? Fix our technology. With these?" He gestured at her toolbox with what seemed like disgust. "Your primitive methods would only cause more damage." Olivia crossed her arms. "Your choice. But that leak looks serious." After more discussion, they reluctantly allowed her to approach the ship. The material was unlike anything she'd ever seen, but the problem was familiar, a crack in what appeared to be a cooling system. Olivia studied it, then returned to her garage. She came back with epoxy, copper wire, and a few other tools. The aliens watched in horror as she began her work. "Stop. Those barbaric methods will destroy the..." Commander Vorix fell silent as the leak slowed, then stopped completely. Olivia stepped back, wiping her hands again. "Should hold until you can make proper repairs." The crack was expanding from heat stress. "Your cooling system isn't balanced for Earth's atmosphere." The aliens inspected her work with obvious disbelief. Their scanners confirmed what they couldn't accept. Her fix was working. As they prepared to leave, Commander Vorix approached her one last time. "Your solution was unexpected," he admitted reluctantly. He handed her a small metal object, a token for the primitive with unusual skills. Before she could respond, they boarded their ships and rose into the night sky, leaving Olivia alone in the field, holding what looked like a simple communication device. She turned it over in her hands and smiled. "Primitive, huh? We'll see about that." 3 months passed since the night Olivia met the aliens. Life in Pinewood had returned to normal, and most people dismissed the strange lights as military tests or mass hallucination. Only Olivia knew the truth. In her spare time, She studied the device Commander Vorix had given her. She discovered it picked up signals, not radio waves, but something else. At night, she heard strange sounds through it, patterns that slowly began to make sense. Then everything changed on a Tuesday morning. Olivia was fixing Mrs. Peterson's car when the sky darkened. Everyone looked up to see massive ships, dozens of them, blocking the sun. These weren't the small vessels like before. Each was the size of a small town. The radio cut to emergency broadcasts. Unknown aircraft have appeared over major cities worldwide. Citizens are advised to. Then silence. The invasion happened fast. The Exilarian ships released smaller fighters that destroyed military bases, government buildings, and communication centers. Within hours, Earth's organized resistance crumbled. Pinewood, being small and unimportant, was ignored in the initial attack. Olivia gathered as many people as she could in her garage. "Those are the same aliens I met," she explained to the frightened group. "They're called Xilarians." "What do they want?" asked Bill from the grocery store. Olivia held up the alien device. "I've been listening to them. They think we're primitive, easy to conquer. They want our planet's resources, and us as workers." That night, as refugees from nearby cities arrived with stories of destruction, a damaged Xilarian fighter crashed in the hills outside town. While others hid, Olivia grabbed her tools and hiked to the crash site. The ship was mostly intact. The pilot was dead, but the systems were still running. Olivia worked through the night, figuring out how the controls operated. By morning, she had removed several key components. Back at her garage, now serving as a shelter, she found two new arrivals: Sam Carter, who had been an engineer in the Army, and Maya Patel, who worked in computer programming before the invasion. "Look at this," Olivia said, spreading the alien technology on her workbench. "Their systems use principles we've never thought of." Sam studied a piece. "This material doesn't exist on Earth." Maya was already connecting her laptop to one of the devices. "Their programming language is based on mathematics, but I think I can figure it out." Over the next weeks, as the Exilarians established control over major population centers, the three worked tirelessly. They combined Earth technology with the salvaged alien parts, creating something new. "They think we're primitive because we use different methods," Olivia explained as they tested their first working weapon. "But that's their weakness. They don't expect us to understand their technology, let alone improve it." The weapon, built from car parts and alien power cells, could disrupt the shields on Xilarian vehicles. Their first test destroyed a small patrol ship that had ventured near Pinewood. Word spread quietly. Survivors from other towns began to arrive, bringing skills and determination. The garage became too small, so they moved to an abandoned warehouse at the edge of town. 6 months after the invasion began, Olivia intercepted a message that made her blood run cold. She gathered her growing team. "They've noticed our attacks," she said. "Commander Vorix himself has been assigned to find us." Sam looked worried. "That's bad, right?" Olivia smiled for the first time in months. "No, it's perfect. He underestimated me once before, and now he's bringing a big ship right to us." Maya glanced at their growing collection of hybrid weapons. "What are you thinking, Olivia?" "I'm thinking it's time to show these aliens just how not primitive we really are." The old warehouse hummed with activity. 6 months since the invasion, and Olivia's small group had grown into a real resistance. 30 people now worked in shifts, building weapons, gathering information, and planning strikes against the Xilarians. Olivia stood over a workbench, connecting wires inside what looked like a normal flashlight, but it was much more. When finished, it would disable Xilarian armor with a single flash. "Team 3 is back," Sam called from his lookout position. The side door opened, and 5 people entered carrying bags of salvaged Xilarian equipment. Their leader, Kate Miller, a former police officer, approached Olivia. "Mission successful," Kate reported. "We hit their supply depot near Harrison. Got out clean." Olivia nodded. Any casualties? None on our side. Kate smiled. Those shield disruptors you made work perfectly. Their conversation was interrupted by Maya, who rushed over from her communication station. Olivia, you need to hear this. She handed over a modified version of the device Commander Vorex had given Olivia. They're talking about you specifically. Through the device, Olivia heard Silurian voices translated by Maya's program. Female human from initial contact has been identified as resistance leader. Commander Vorex will personally oversee her capture. The human known as Olivia Daniels is to be taken alive for study. Looks like you made an impression, Sam said. Olivia handed the device back to Maya. Good. Let them focus on me while our other teams keep hitting their outposts. That evening, as they planned their next move, Joe Garcia arrived. A former construction worker with knowledge of the area's underground tunnels, he had been scouting the major Xilarian base that had been established in what was once Denver. They're building something big, he reported, spreading out hand-drawn maps. And I spotted Commander Vorex. He has a special team with him. Did they see you? Olivia asked. Joe shook his head. No. But I found something else. He placed a small cylinder on the table. One of their scientists dropped this. I thought it might be important. Olivia carefully examined the cylinder. Maya, can you figure out what's on this? For 3 days, Maya worked on decoding the cylinder's contents. When she finally succeeded, her face went pale. It's their attack plans for the next phase, she explained to the group. They're going to start processing humans for labor camps next month. But that's not all. She took a deep breath. I found schematics for their mothership. This was the break they needed. The mothership, hovering over what was once New York City, controlled the entire Xilarian fleet on Earth. As they studied the schematics, Olivia noticed something. Their central control systems, they're actually quite vulnerable. Look at how they're connected. She pointed to sections of the digital blueprints. They never expected anyone to get aboard, so they didn't build in redundancies. Are you suggesting what I think you are? Sam asked. Olivia nodded slowly. We take the mothership. The room fell silent. That's impossible, Kate finally said. There are thousands of Xilarians on that ship. They think we're primitive, Olivia reminded them. They underestimate what we can do with their own technology. That night, their base was attacked. Commander Vorex had found them sooner than expected. As Xilarian troops surrounded the warehouse, Olivia led her people through the emergency tunnels Joe had prepared. In their new hiding place, an abandoned mine outside town, Olivia gathered what remained of her team. We lost the warehouse, but we saved our most important work, she said. And now Vorex thinks he's won. That's his mistake. She unfolded the mothership schematics. We have 3 weeks to prepare. We're going to infiltrate that ship, and we're going to take it from them. How? Joe asked. There's only a dozen of us left. Olivia smiled. We have the element of surprise and something they'll never expect. A primitive human thinking outside their advanced box. The abandoned mine had become their new home. Deep underground, the Xilarians couldn't detect their activities. Olivia had set up her workshop in what once was the foreman's office. Maps and diagrams covered the walls. All of them focused on one thing, the Xilarian mothership. We have 2 big problems, Olivia explained to her team. First, getting on the ship. Second, taking control once we're there. Sam studied the schematics they had stolen. There's a regular supply transport that docks with the mothership every 5 days. If we could get on that. They scan everything that goes aboard, Maya pointed out. Olivia picked up a small device she had been working on. Not if we can fool their scanners. For the next week, they worked non-stop. Joe and Kate conducted reconnaissance missions, gathering information about Xilarian patrol patterns. Maya hacked into their communication network using the knowledge she had gained over the past months. I found something interesting, Maya said one evening. Commander Vorex has been ordered to return to the mothership. They're not happy that he hasn't caught us yet. Olivia smiled. This is perfect. If he's on the mothership, he won't be looking for us down here. Sam looked concerned. But once we're up there, we'll have to deal with him directly. I'm counting on it, Olivia replied. As they prepared, Olivia created specialized tools designed to work with Solarian technology. Each one looked primitive, made from Earth materials, but contained elements of alien tech that made them far more powerful than they appeared. This will override their door controls, she explained, showing the team what looked like an ordinary screwdriver. And this, she held up what resembled a flashlight, will disable their internal security sensors. Kate, who had been a pilot before the invasion, studied the mothership's navigation systems. If we get control, I think I can fly this thing, she said with more confidence than she felt. 2 days before their planned mission, they captured a Solarian scout who had ventured too close to their hideout. Rather than kill him, Maya used her translation program to interrogate him. He's a scientist, not a soldier, Maya told the others, and he has access codes for the mothership. The alien, who called himself Xerix, was surprisingly cooperative once he realized they weren't going to harm him. Your resistance is impressive but futile, he told Olivia. The High Command sees humans as barely evolved primates. That's why we'll win, Olivia replied simply. On their final night before the mission, Olivia gathered everyone together. Tomorrow, 5 of us will board that supply transport, she said. Maya, Sam, Kate, Joe, and myself. The rest of you will continue the ground resistance. If we succeed, you'll know it. If we fail, you won't fail, said one of the younger resistance fighters. His faith in Olivia was shared by all of them. Olivia looked at each face in turn. Some she had known her whole life, neighbors from Pinewood. Others had joined along the way, survivors bound together by a common purpose. The Solarians think they know what humans are capable of, she said quietly. They've studied our weapons, our technology, our history, but they've missed something important. We don't just copy and follow rules. We adapt. We improvise. We look at problems differently. She held up one of her hybrid tools, part Earth technology, part alien. They called us primitive because we don't do things their way. Tomorrow, we show them that being different isn't the same as being backward. Sometimes, a new approach is exactly what's needed. As the others went to prepare, Sam stayed behind. Are you sure about this, Olivia? The odds are terrible. She finished for him with a smile. But that's never stopped us before. Dawn broke over the ruins of what had once been a thriving town. A Solarian supply transport sat in a clearing, its crew loading containers of Earth resources. Hidden in the trees nearby, Olivia and her team watched. Remember the plan, Olivia whispered. Once we're inside the containers, stay completely silent. The scanner-blocking devices should hide us, but they can still hear. Each member carried a small pack with their specialized tools. They wore dark clothing with pieces of Solarian armor attached strategically, not enough to look like aliens, but enough to confuse the ship's internal sensors. Now, Olivia signaled as the Solarian crew moved to the far side of the transport. The 5 humans sprinted across the open ground and slipped inside different supply containers. Olivia's container was filled with metal parts the aliens had salvaged from Earth vehicles. The irony wasn't lost on her. Using car parts had been her specialty before the invasion. The container sealed shut, plunging her into darkness. She felt the vibration as the transport lifted off. There was no turning back now. The journey to the mothership took nearly 3 hours. When the container finally stopped moving, Olivia activated her communication device. Status check, she whispered. In position, Sam replied. Ready, came Kate's voice. All set, Joe confirmed. Silence followed. Maya? Olivia asked, concerned. Sorry, Maya finally responded. There's a guard right outside my container. Olivia waited tensely as the containers were moved into the mothership's massive cargo bay. When hers was opened for inspection, she held her breath, pressing herself against the inner wall. A Xilarian guard glanced inside but didn't see her thanks to the position she had chosen. The container was sealed again and moved to a storage area. Using the small tool she had designed, Olivia created an opening in the side of the container and slipped out. The storage area was dimly lit, with rows of containers stretching in all directions. One by one, the others joined her behind a stack of crates. "We made it," Joe whispered, sounding surprised. Olivia checked the small map she had memorized. "We need to split up now. Maya and Kate, head for communications. Joe, you create diversions in the lower levels. Sam and I will go to engineering." Maya handed each of them a small device. "Plant these in the data ports you find. They'll let me access the ship's systems no matter where you are." They moved through the ship carefully. The corridors were vast, designed for beings taller than humans. Everything hummed with energy. Olivia had never seen such technology up close, but she refused to be intimidated by it. When they reached a junction, Joe nodded to the others. "Good luck," he said before disappearing down a corridor. Maya and Kate took another path, leaving Olivia and Sam to continue toward the heart of the ship. They encountered their first real obstacle at a security checkpoint. Two armed guards stood before a sealed door. "I'll handle this," Sam whispered. He took out one of Olivia's devices and activated it. Down the corridor, a panel suddenly sparked and caught fire. As the guards rushed to deal with the unexpected emergency, Olivia and Sam slipped through the door. They were getting closer to engineering when an alarm sounded. "That's not Joe's diversion," Sam said, concerned. Olivia checked her communication device. "Maya, what's happening?" "We're in communications," Maya replied, her voice tense. "But we've been spotted. Kate is holding them off. But I need more time to block their outgoing signals." Before Olivia could respond, a familiar voice echoed through the ship's announcement system. "Security alert. Human intruders detected. All personnel to battle stations. Commander Vorix to engineering immediately." Sam looked at Olivia. "He knows. He suspects," Olivia corrected. "But he doesn't know what we're planning." She handed Sam her pack. "Take this and continue to engineering. I'll create a diversion and meet you there." "That's too dangerous," Sam protested. "Trust me," Olivia said with a grim smile. "The commander and I have unfinished business." Olivia moved through the ship's corridors with surprising confidence. The months spent studying Xilarian technology had prepared her well. She no longer saw their advanced systems as intimidating, but as puzzles waiting to be solved. She reached a maintenance shaft and climbed inside. According to the schematics, this would lead directly to the power core, the heart of the mothership. Meanwhile, Sam continued toward engineering. He encountered two guards and used one of Olivia's devices to emit a flash that temporarily blinded them. Before they could recover, he was past them and through the door into the main engineering section. Inside, Xilarian technicians worked at control panels. None noticed Sam as he slipped behind a large power conduit. He began attaching the small devices Maya had given him to various junction points. "I'm in engineering," he whispered into his communicator, "planting the access nodes now." In the communications center, Maya worked frantically at a Xilarian terminal while Kate stood guard at the door. "I've blocked their distress signals," Maya reported. "They can't call for help from the other ships. Now I'm accessing the main computer." Deeper in the ship, Joe was creating chaos. The small explosives he planted weren't powerful enough to damage the ship seriously, but created enough confusion to keep security teams running in circles. Olivia reached the power core chamber. The massive room glowed with blue energy as the core pulsed with power. No guards were inside. The Xilarians never expected anyone to reach this far. She pulled out a device she had spent weeks creating. It looked simple, just wires and circuits attached to a tablet, but it was designed to interface with the Xilarian power systems. "This is where being primitive comes in handy," she muttered as she connected her device to the control panel. Instead of trying to hack the main system, She targeted the secondary circuits, paths the Xilarians considered too basic to be worth protecting. As her device connected, she began rerouting command functions through these secondary systems. It was like hot wiring a car. Messy but effective. "Maya, I need access to the ship's internal communication system," Olivia said into her communicator. "Working on it," Maya replied. "Give me 2 minutes." Suddenly, the door to the power core chamber slid open. Commander Vorex stood there, flanked by 4 guards. His black eyes widened in recognition. "The primitive mechanic," he said, his voice mixing surprise and anger. "I should have eliminated you when we first met." Olivia didn't look up from her work. "But you didn't. You gave me a gift instead, remember?" The commander stepped forward. "Step away from the control panel." "I don't think so," Olivia replied calmly. "Check your systems, Commander. Who controls your ship now?" Vorex looked at the display on his wrist device. His expression changed from confidence to confusion, then to horror. "Impossible. You couldn't have." He turned to his guards. "Shoot her." Before they could fire, the lights in the chamber turned red, and the guards' weapons powered down. "What's happening?" Vorex demanded. Olivia smiled. "I've rerouted control through systems you never bothered to secure. Your ship responds to me now." On cue, Maya's voice came through the ship's communication system. "All command functions locked out. Secondary systems now have primary control." Around the ship, security doors closed, trapping Xilarian crews in their sections. In engineering, Sam finished his work and stood up, now in control of the propulsion systems. Commander Vorex lunged at Olivia, but stopped short as automated defense turrets emerged from the walls, targeting him and his guards. "How?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Our technology is centuries ahead of yours." Olivia finally looked up from her work. "That's your problem, Commander. You only see one path, the advanced path. You never look for the simple solutions, the back doors, the workarounds." She gestured to her device. "Sometimes primitive thinking is exactly what you need." She pressed a final button, and throughout the massive ship, control screens displayed a new message. Mothership command transferred. Standing in the Mothership's command center, Olivia looked at the massive view screen showing Earth below. After securing Commander Vorex and his guards, she had reunited with her team. San had a minor injury from a brief firefight, but everyone else was unharmed. "I still can't believe we did it," Kate said, staring at the alien controls that now responded to her touch. Maya worked at the communication station. "The Xilarian crews are contained in their quarters. They can't access any systems." Olivia turned to Joe. "Status of the other ships?" "They're confused," Joe replied. "They've lost contact with command and don't know what to do." Olivia nodded and walked to where Commander Vorex sat under guard. "Now comes the hard part. We need your voice command to recall all ground forces." The commander glared at her. "I will never help you." "You don't understand," Olivia said calmly. "I'm not asking." She nodded to Maya, who played a recording. It was Vorex's voice, pieced together from various communications they had intercepted. The commander's eyes widened in shock as his own voice ordered all Xilarian ground troops to return to their ships immediately. "Primitive, but effective," Olivia commented. Over the next hours, they watched as Xilarian forces across Earth abandoned their positions and returned to their vessels. The smaller ships began gathering around the Mothership, awaiting new orders. "Now what?" Sam asked. "We control one ship, but there are dozens out there." Olivia smiled. "We make them an offer they can't refuse." Using the Mothership's powerful communication system, Olivia broadcast a message to the entire Xilarian fleet. Her face appeared on every ship's command screen. "This is Olivia Daniels. Your Mothership is under human control. Commander Vorex is our prisoner." The camera panned to show the commander. "We have disabled your weapons but left your engines operational. You have one option. Leave Earth immediately or be destroyed by your own Mothership." The Solarian fleet commander's face appeared on their screen. Impossible. Humans could not operate our technology. This is a trick. Olivia shrugged. Should we demonstrate? She nodded to Kate, who targeted the closest Solarian ship and fired a precision shot that disabled its engines without destroying the vessel. The fleet fell silent. The next shot won't be so gentle, Olivia warned. You have 1 hour to begin withdrawal from Earth orbit. She ended the transmission and turned to her team. Now we wait. 50 minutes later, the Solarian ships began to move. Slowly at first, then with increasing speed, they pulled away from Earth. They're actually leaving, Joe said in disbelief. Olivia wasn't surprised. They rely too much on their advanced technology. When that advantage disappeared, they had no backup plan. Sam studied the readings. All ships have entered departure vectors except the command vessel. The fleet commander's face appeared again on their screen. This isn't over, human. We will return with reinforcements. I'll be waiting, Olivia replied simply. And next time, don't underestimate us primitives. As the final ship departed, Olivia approached Commander Vorax once more. What will you do with me? He asked, his arrogance now replaced with caution. That depends on you, Olivia said. You have 2 choices. Help us understand your technology so we can defend ourselves if they return, or remain our prisoner while we figure it out ourselves. You would never fully understand. We took your mothership with car parts and modified flashlights, Olivia interrupted. Imagine what we could do with time to really study it. Vorax was silent for a long moment. Perhaps there is much our species could learn from each other. 1 month later, Olivia stood in the open door of her family's garage in Pinewood. The town was rebuilding, as was the rest of the world. In the distance, the mothership hovered, now an Earth defense vessel. She wiped her hands on a rag, just as she had done the night the aliens first arrived. So much had changed, yet she was still just a mechanic who saw problems differently. Primitive, she said to herself with a smile. Sometimes that's exactly what you need to be.